Hey guys, what's up? This is Dingo Crikey here with another commentary video. This time I'm going to be doing a Transformers Robots in Disguise episode review. If you're interested in more episode reviews for Transformers Robots in Disguise, news and predictions on Transformers 5, or discussion on the Transformers Generations toy line, then you can check out my playlist and channel where you'll also find over 20 of my Transformers stop motion videos, some of which are previewed here. But for this video, I'm going to be looking at episode 8 of Robots in Disguise. Just finished up watching it, and I've got to say that I think I'm liking this show so far. Now, I didn't review last week's episode, and I didn't think that one was so good. It's kind of like a back and forth thing, but we've had some really good episodes in the show, and I think this one classifies as a pretty good one. Is it on the same scale as Transformers Prime? Not really. It's a different type of show altogether, but for what it is, I really did enjoy this episode. A lot of good character interactions. The plot was pretty good. We're definitely seeing some things that are going to unfold in later episodes, so that should be interesting, even if they're kind of predictable. And we got to see Steeljaw again, and he actually had a good amount of time in this episode, along with a new Decepticon character. And, Underbite was kind of in there too, but we'll get to that later. Anyways, looking at the plot itself, it's an okay plot. It's something we do kind of see a lot. Someone's taken over by something, and they're kind of wondering, is he really a traitor or not? Especially because Grimlock, of course, was a Decepticon before in this series. So, I mean, that was okay, and it definitely brought along some other things, such as Underbite coming back, or at least that's where it seems like it's going. It furthers the overall plot with Steeljaw and gives him more screen time. But what I really liked about this episode is that it gave a lot of characters a chance to shine. I definitely do like some of the episodes, like episode 6, that focus on one character. I guess I should say two, like Sideswipe and Bumblebee primarily, but I do like these ones as well, where everyone gets a little bit of time, and we get to see how everyone reacts to the situations presented in the episode. Now, I did feel the episode was pretty solid up until around the end with the revelation of Metatron, and he's this tiny little insect Decepticon. And can take over Transformers by biting them. Not really a big fan of that concept, and it just felt a little bit silly with all of the Autobots getting taken over by him. I mean, it was kind of funny, but it felt like a change of tone from the rest of the episode, and I wasn't a big fan of that. But of course, they got Underbite in the end, and everything turned out well, except for it looks like Underbite is going to be revived by Steeljaw. That's kind of predictable. I mean, I was wondering at first whether they were going to do this with Decepticons, bring them back later on, or were they just going to never be mentioned again. But once they start using the name Underbite again after the first and second episode, kind of figure out that, yeah, they are going to bring these characters back. And I'm not really a fan of that. I mean, one part of it is that these Decepticon characters really aren't that interesting. And another thing is, being that they aren't interesting and they weren't really developed, I would just prefer some new characters, some more interesting permanent Decepticons. So that's just my thoughts on it. I'm curious to see what you guys think. But outside of Underbite and Metatron, I really did like a lot of the things going on with the characters in this episode. Like I said, everyone got a good amount of time. I thought Sideswipe and Strongarm were the most interesting to watch in this episode, just because we get to see the way they're both reacting to the whole Grimlock situation. I kind of figured Strongarm would do something like this, but I didn't know she would be so harsh toward Grimlock, especially we're on episode 8 and she still has no attachment to him whatsoever. Not saying that it was out of character or that was a bad move on the writer's part, it was just kind of shocking. And then, of course, we had Sideswipe, who's on the other side of the spectrum, and I really did like seeing that, because up to this point, we kind of see Sideswipe as the guy who really doesn't give scrap about anything, and we do see that he values Grimlock as a member of the team. So that was kind of cool. I liked the drama and conflict going on there. They didn't take it too far, which is good, at least for this point in the show. It doesn't seem like it should be getting prime dramatic or anything, so I'm glad they're not trying to do that. And then we see Bumblebee kind of caught in the crossfire, but he handles it pretty well. I think he's becoming more of a capable leader. I'm sure they'll have another episode where he makes a big mistake and is beating up on himself again, but overall, yeah, I think he's becoming better at it. Grimlock did have a lot of time in this episode, but not really that much development. We do see he's going to get his Autobot symbol, and I think that's pretty cool. I always like when shows hold off on these things, rather than what the Unicron trilogy did. It just felt really like so formulaic and predictable in regards to design changes or upgrades, symbol changes, that kind of stuff. I like the way a show like this is handled, where you can have Grimlock just have this Decepticon symbol up until episode 8, and it could be episode 9 he'll be getting an Autobot symbol. It's not like a big season change or like a huge deal is made out of it or some flashy upgrade. It looks like they're just going to do it, and I much prefer that. It makes it feel a lot less formulaic. And then we have Fix-It and Russell. I've got to say, I was pretty surprised because this was one of the first times I actually enjoyed Russell. Now, he is still kind of annoying, but his interaction with Fix-It is actually funny. I kind of like the chemistry they have. They didn't really overdo it in this episode. They didn't make Fix-It like overly erratic, or Russell being like overly, oh, I'm a punk kid, I don't want to do anything. They played it pretty well, and I thought it was actually pretty funny. Of course, Fix-It had some great moments. I love when Russell tells him, "Have you seen you?" And, then Fix-It just gets flicked by Grimlock. That was great. So, yeah, Fix-It's probably my second favorite in the show at this point. I think Sideswipe is still my favorite, but I really do enjoy Fix-It. As far as the Decepticon characters, Steeljaw's cool. Once again, I love his voice. His design in the show, not the toy, is pretty cool as well. But there's nothing really too unique about his character at this point. I'm happy he's not like Megatron. They're not trying to make him exactly like Megatron or Starscream. But I feel like he needs some defining traits, because right now he feels like the villain that, let's say, a Transformers fan who is used to seeing Megatron tunes in, and all they're going to think when they see this guy is, he's not Megatron. That's really all he is at this point. He isn't really that great of a villain. And I think he has some potential, but he's, the guy who has all his plans and stuff's going to work out so well for him. And then something goes bad and he gets angry and a little clumsy and loses his temper a bit. They just need to work on some things with his character. Maybe we'll see that in the future episodes. I guess we'll have to see. Then we have Metatron. Can't really call him a character. He didn't do a whole lot. Like I already said, didn't really like that, how they're just using Decepticons like this. Like, I don't know, he's smaller than a Minicon and he classifies as a Decepticon. They've probably done stuff like this before, but this feels kind of like it, one of those scrap eating things in Prime. He should have been something like that. I don't know, not a fan of that. Felt like he was way too powerful for such a little guy, too, that he could control someone by biting them. And it's not even like a long-induced thing. We just see him pop on Bumblebee and, he has control over him. I wasn't a fan of that. So, other things as far as the episode goes, the action's cool. In my opinion, the action's pretty much always good in this show. The effects, they don't look that great. The Autobots' blasters are incredibly stupid. But, the overall action sequences, even the scene where Sideswipe and Bumblebee go sliding down the cliff was pretty cool. I did enjoy that. As far as other things visually, one thing I'm not liking about this show is the stock footage. Now, they definitely don't use it as much as Transformers Cybertron did. But, I'm really not a big fan of stock footage, and the sequences are kind of long, too. It's not like when Armada used stock footage, their scenes were pretty short. The transformations were quick. Now, mind you, it did use a lot more than Robots in Disguise uses, so I think it makes up for that. But, I don't recall Transformers Prime using that much of it. Most Transformers shows do, though, so it's not something you're really going to get around. But still, it's kind of a bummer when it's in there. As far as episode highlights, I would probably say any scene with Sideswipe saying something funny. I mean, that's always good. Some of the Fix-It and Russell interaction, and I really did enjoy the ending, seeing how affectionate Grimlock can be. And I guess, like the audience, he didn't realize that Sideswipe actually, gave a crap about him. So, yeah, that was cool, and I did like seeing that. As far as my final thoughts, I did really like this episode. Some little things here and there, like leading up to the ending when Metatron is revealed, wasn't a big fan of that. The idea that they're going to bring Underbite back, not really crazy about that, but at least they're not doing it all in one episode. We're kind of seeing them leading up to it, so that's pretty cool. I would probably give this one an 8 out of 10. Might be my favorite episode of the show so far. I'd have to think back to episode 6, the one with the Caspigos and all of the Sideswipe and Bumblebee screen time, but I did really enjoy this one. I can't say that I love the show or anything at this point, but I think it's pretty good. They have some rough episodes, but I do like a lot of the stuff they're doing. Do I think it's better than Transformers Prime? Well, I might do a video giving some of my thoughts on that, because I kind of had mixed opinions in that direction. You guys can leave your thoughts on that in the comment section below, along with any thoughts you have on this episode. Did you like it overall? Did you hate it? Are you still sick of seeing Bumblebee and Steeljaw as the lead members of the team rather than Optimus and Megatron? Leave your thoughts in the comment section below, and drop off any topic suggestions you have. I plan to do a lot of videos over this summer, so I'll need lots of topic ideas if you guys have them. Could pertain to Robots in Disguise, Transformers 5, Transformers Generations, or Transformers Beast Machine, something like that. And if you're new to the channel and you would like to hear any videos I've done on previous Transformer topics, older Transformers series, Transformers in general, then you could check out my playlist and channel, and you could also check out my Transformers stop motion videos. Like I said, lots of videos to come this month and in the upcoming ones, if all goes well. Thanks for watching, stay tuned, and have a good one, guys.